All right. Once more, you all are welcome. Today we're going to be looking at Windows at the rest of chapter 7, and from 7.8 we covered the earlier modules from this chapter within our previous session, and as of now we're just going to finish what is left of it, and then we move on to chapter 8. We're going to just cover a few modules within chapter 8 as with regards to beginning the next module within this training program. So that being said, I'm just going to start right now with what is of chapter 8. So basically, as always, we're going to start by looking at the skills that you're supposed to get at the end of this particular chapter. So you'll be able to troubleshoot Windows services and understand the reasons why some particular things are not functioning properly, and also be able to analyze the challenges that you face with your system and the temporary solutions or temporary or permanent solutions that you can implement on them. Nonetheless, you should also be able at the end of this to troubleshoot Windows applications specifically and then apply or implement solutions to them that are going to be permanent. So we've looked already at the skill sets that you're expected to acquire by the end of this remaining modules. And now we're going to talk about some of the key terms that you encounter as we cover this whole section. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the acronym BSOD, or which stands for Blue Screen of Death. But has anyone ever experienced or seen what it is like to face the BSOD?
No, sir.
All right, let me explain how it is. It is this kind of error message whereby your whole screen just turns blue with some kind of white message and with an error code, either blue or dark or black. The screen is either blue or dark with some text providing an error code with some information telling you that your PC is either going to restart or that your PC has crashed and is shutting down. So that's what the blue screen of death looks like. Not to worry, we are going to look at it. There are illustrations of what that thing it all looks like with deeper into the chapter. So we also see the BIOS of a system. So one of the key terms is the BIOS, and BIOS, as you almost know, is stands for Basic Input Output System. And last but not the least, the one of the most used term within this module again is the Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, or UEFI. Now, why are we calling all these names? Let's look at the definitions. The BSOD, or Blue Screen of Death, is an error message screen in Windows that displays when an error is so severe that Windows can no longer continue to function. Starting with Windows 11, the background for this error message is now black. So what am I trying to say? When I was talking about Blue Screen of Death, I also mentioned black screen of death. But unfortunately, the update is not yet implemented on all Windows 11 based systems. So much so that when there's an error, it appears black. What happens is that on my machine, I've experienced the blue screen of death severally, but I'm using Windows 11 and I have experienced it in the blue color, using the blue color. It is simply when a particular error or an interrupt occurs on your system that is too severe, that is too serious for your machine to handle. Because generally, fault tolerance is one of the the capacities, one of the features or characteristics that Windows knows best. But when you find yourself now with an error that is so harsh or so severe that Windows cannot handle, you experience this blue screen of death, and generally you're presented with an error code on how to solve it, or your system is forced to reboot. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me properly and my volume is okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. The next thing we're talking about here is the basic input-output system as opposed to the UEFI. The BIOS is a firmware that initializes the boot process at startup and provides runtime services. So I don't know who knows what a firmware is. What is a firmware, guys? What is the firmware? You guys, you don't know about the firmware. So let's just say it's another type of software, but it is a low-level one that communicates directly with your computer's hardware. So a BIOS is simply that firmware, a specific software that is written in low-level language to communicate directly with your hardware and interact with them in some specific manner. UEFI, as a matter of fact, is also a firmware, but it is designed as an update to replace the BIOS firmware, which is also used to initialize the boot process. I asked you guys the other time what you understood by the boot process, and I think some of you said something and others did not. Well, then just understand that booting is a process by which you turn on the Windows computer. That notwithstanding, some of the things that you experience when you reboot your Windows computer are one of the topics that we're going to analyze within this module. Sorry, what's doing the echo? Where's the echo? Okay, I think we're fine. All right. So now we are going to start with the first section where you troubleshoot your Windows computer, how you actually address problems or issues that you face within your system without having to go to a shop or pay someone else to do it for you. So that's one of the skills that you will get from this place. After today, you're going to have a lot of knowledge on PC maintenance and repair, PC maintenance and or repair. So one of the basic things that you can do to solve problems that you're facing in your system is just a simple reboot. It is just a simple like rebooting your system. When you reboot your system, you know that there were applications that were loaded in your computer's RAM. So all of it will wipe away and your RAM will start afresh again. So if it was a RAM if it was an overflow of RAM, you will realize that it empties up completely and you're capable of using your PC once again. You stop all the tasks that were currently running. By clearing the RAM, you have stopped all the tasks that were running. You also stop memory leaks and correct software glitches because there are some services or programs that run in your background which can cause your software to glitch. Reason being that you cannot see them. Also, it allows you to cool down. It allows your PC, your CPU to cool down a little bit as you are working on it. So because generally, the longer it takes for your CPU, the longer time your CPU has in uptime, the hotter it becomes. So it is always very essential to restart your PC from time to time or turn it off completely. I see a lot of people stay with their PCs for like 3 days, a week, a month without turning it off. That is very detrimental to your PC, to your computer hardware. And you need to always make sure that you have your PC turned on at least once in every 24 hours. That being said, when you also restart your computer or reboot it, you permit your PC to recover from the installation of updates that were not able to complete successfully. Some of the services, there is this program inside Windows which is called services. I think we saw that program previously. I'm just going to open it up again real quick, and it is a program that actually holds it's like a database of all the programs that are running in the background within your computer. So we specifically looked at the Printspoller, which is the service that manages printing, and we also identified the feature that enables applications to start automatically when you turn on your PC, or to or permit the users to like configure it, enable it, disable it, and all that stuff. So we are just going to do that right now. I'm going to switch to sharing that screen. So, okay. So I want to believe that you all can see the screen. This is what we call the services menu. For those of you who are attending on small screens, sorry. you will watch the recording on a bigger screen. So basically, these are all the services that are found within this computer, like background, which you cannot see, but it is thanks to them that this computer has functionality. There are applications that run for a long time. They start automatically when you turn on your computer. You don't have any interface. There's no user interface for them, like no graphics user interface for them. And they generally run in the background. As we said, let's look, for example, the DHCP client that you see right here. You can see that it has the status here is running. The startup type is automatic, and it is a logon as, it's a local service. Why all this information here? What it permits you to know the services that are running on your PC and the state, or gives you more the possibility to edit them or customize it to suit you. Now, when you look at that service, the explanation for the services, it registers and updates IP addresses and DNS records for this computer. If this service is stopped, there is more. Look at the explanation here. They say if this service is stopped, this computer will not receive dynamic IP addresses and DNS updates. If this service is disabled, any services that explicitly depend on it will fail to start. So this means that if I disable this right now, I will step out of this meeting. Why would I step out of this meeting? Because I'm actually using a router to connect to this call, and connecting to that router, there is a DHCP server that attributes an IP address to me so that I can access the internet, a private IP address, so that I can access the router service and then go to the internet with my public IP address. But if I disable this service, my machine will be unable to receive dynamic IP addresses and any DNS record. So as a matter of fact, I will be unable to connect to the internet, making me to leave this class. So that's why you can see here, there are quick shortcuts that you can see here, stop and restart. If I restart, I'll actually leave this meeting, but I'm going to join very soon. So if you right click on there, you can see stop, you can see restart, all the tasks that are running under it, refresh, and a lot more other information. So that should be it for the services tab. We're going to continue with another. Now, let's look at this interface here is simply a description of what we looked at in that in the sample situation. So you can basically watch every task, and then you even go up to looking at the things that you can do on top of these services, on top of this service, sorry. So now there is this other interface that we call the event viewer. Let's say today your PC just wakes up and something is not working properly, but it was working fine yesterday. You want to be able to identify what went wrong. You want to be able to go back in time and see what happened and what time it did, so that you'll be able to know what ways to better address this issue. So that being said, this here is what the event viewer looks like. Now, there is not much to see as of now, but we can come here to events, and then we take open saved logs. What is log? It is simply a state, sorry, Windows logs, yes, and opens, sorry. Okay. So basically what happens on this interface is that you're able to see every operation that has been going on your PC, on your system, and you'll be able to figure out at what step something went wrong or not. The window has frozen, so I would just like leave it for now. I'll just drag it down for now. We continue from there. But basically the interface is just as you see here, guys. So you can see, you scroll down to Windows logs, you'll see the system, and then you can see all system logs presented to you right there. Let me just make sure that it has unfrozen. Okay, say for instance, my Windows can no longer update. let's assume that Windows can no longer update on my PC, but then it used to update just a couple of hours ago. How do I manage to realize what happened or at what time this problem occurred so as to know which solution to implement? It is just to go into Event Viewer. When you go into Event Viewer, when you go inside Event Viewer, you click on Windows Logs and you will view all the logs in the central panel there that is going to be telling you what went wrong and where. All these things that you see here are the various things. They're categorized as warning, error, and information, where information is the most basic information, is the most basic data, piece of data. The error part of it is just like something which is already critical, while warning is telling you that something bad is about to happen if you don't take action. So you can also look at the event properties. Like when you click on an event, you can look at the properties of that event. It's basically just more detail about the event that you see displayed on this particular interface right here. When you do, if you do click on an event or see more details, it's just going to open it up and then tell you more about that event. So when you turn on your PC and you're unable to see the Windows operating system coming up, that is definitely because a couple of things must have happened. It might be that an update that you installed is not it's not properly set up on your PC and your computer cannot use it properly. Or last time you shut down your computer, you did not do a clean shutdown, you forcefully shut it down, or you did something wrong. It might also be that there is a malware on your PC, okay? Or you might have partitioned your hard drive after turning off, or you might within your previous usage, you might have partitioned your hard drive and resized some things that might have taken off some boot files, so preventing your computer from booting properly. And peripheral devices as well could also be the things that are interfering with your booting process. So while looking at a PC which is not booting, these are some of the scenarios or some of the things that you can consider looking out or watching out for. There is now this utility within Windows which is called the Startup Repair Tool. I think you access the Startup Repair Tool from the settings of your machine. If you go to Windows, let me just go there real quick. If you go there to Windows settings, I think recovery, Windows. Let me just open it real quick. Sorry. Okay. So, all right. Can you all see this screen? Can you see the screen which is shared right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Mazule, is your network okay now?
Yes, it's okay.
All right. So, I was just trying to say that when you go to your PC settings, to go to the startup repair, Windows startup repair, to solve any a booting problem or something malfunctioning within your PC, you can go to you open up Windows, is it Windows Update? No, it's not Windows Update. Sorry. System. You open up your system and you go to recovery. You click I'm using Windows 11, so the interface might differ for you. On Windows 11, on Windows 10, it should be settings, Windows Update, then you go to recovery, system recovery. But in Windows 11, you click settings, you go to system, as you see here, then you click on recovery. When you click on recovery, you're going to see advanced startup. Your PC is going to start up and open the startup repair interface, which is this interface right here. So this is when you restart using that feature, your PC is going to turn off and turn on, and when it comes back on, you're going to be faced with this interface. Don't worry, we are going to see how you actually use this interface here, also how you implement it to get yourself a PC which is functional. Again, now you might be wondering, what if my PC is not booting to a state where I cannot even go to the settings application in order to open the menu? Who here knows how you manage to enter the startup repair menu without going through the settings application? If you don't know, just say you don't know. We continue.
Don't know, sir.
Have you never seen have you never experienced, like, how long have you been using a
So I
Windows
know how to do
laptop?
it, sir.
I beg your pardon?
Sir, I can try.
All right. So what happens? Let us know. Just wait a little bit. Wait a little bit.
I said I can try, sir.
Mazule, I'm with you. Yes, just give me a second, please. Mazule, I'm with you.
Okay,
So
sir.
I want to know. Has there not ever been a time where you turn your PC on for some reasons, you see something like advanced startup or advanced startup repair, something like that? Have you never seen that screen?
No, sir.
Okay. I don't think that's visible, right? I don't think it's available here. Not to worry, not to worry. So Zidane, go ahead and tell us how you can enter the Windows Startup Repair without going through the settings application.
Okay, so when you switch off your PC and when you are powering it on, you press F12. On some PCs, you press F1 for this menu for a menu to pop up that you follow to get to this level.
All right. Doesn't it sound to you like you're talking about how you boot? How you boot? Is that not the shortcut to access the BIOS of your PC? Does that not sound to you like
something like that?
That's the process that you use to access your computer's BIOS. Have you accessed the BIOS before? Mazule, I'm still with you. Have you accessed the PC BIOS before?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how did you manage to get in there? And which computer was it? Which brand? Which?
No, no, sir.
Are you talking to
No,
me,
sir?
sir?
No, sir. No, sir. I did not manage to access it.
Are you trying to avoid because you will not remember the day, the mark, the brand, and all the stuff?
No, sir. No, sir. It's when I was trying to perform a visualization, I could not access it. I needed the password, so I never knew the password.
Okay, you never knew the password of your BIOS.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that means that your computer came with the password set up, and the BIOS has a password, right? And you don't know that password.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It has a password.
Oh, that means you can never configure BIOS settings on your computer. You can never change startup settings. You can never do that, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever tried to fix it? Have you ever done research on how to fix it?
No, sir. I'm still doing a research.
Is it all right? Is it a laptop or a desktop? Let me give you a quick hint on how to solve that problem.
It's a laptop.
All right. Do you guys remember, as we had that session, that we were talking about the CMOS battery, the complementary metal oxide semiconductor?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember that session? You remember that session?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes or no? George and Zidane,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
expecting you guys to answer too. All right.
Pardon, sir.
So, were you there during the session that we talked about the CMOS battery?
Yes, sir.
CMOS battery. Okay. What did we say? What did we say were the roles of a CMOS battery within the PC? What did we say were the roles? What roles did the CMOS battery play?
Okay, sir. It updates the time and date in the PC, sir.
Okay, the CMOS battery updates the time and on it as one of the one of the features, one of the functionalities. All right. What about there's another thing that the CMOS battery does. What is it, guys? The-
Yes, okay.
it does. We said that when your P for some reason has gone to 000 okay, which is like 19th century, your computer, the date resets itself. Even when you fix it, you set up the date, whenever you power your computer off and power it back on, the date goes back to 000. We said that you're going to experience that problem if your CMOS battery goes bad. If your CMOS battery goes bad, that's when you experience that problem. And as a matter of fact, I think Cynthia was there when we were talking about the CMOS battery and explained that the CMOS also provides electricity, like it provides power to the BIOS of your computer, which means it is the power that comes from the CMOS battery, which permits the BIOS to store data because the chip BIOS is that is not the electricity is not provided by the computer, provided by the CMOS battery. So what is happening to Mazule? I'm actually making this whole explanation for her. Nonetheless, you get to understand. So when BIOS, a computer BIOS, which is locked with a password, like an administrator password, which you don't know, all you have to do is open the back of your computer, either PC or laptop, remove the CMOS battery, turn it off completely, remove even your PC's battery, even if it's a laptop, turn everything off completely, disconnect it from current, and then leave it for like an hour or two to make sure that every electricity inside is used up and gets completely used up, no password. I don't know if that makes sense, guys. Because you remember that the BIOS essentially stores the CMOS battery provides electricity for the BIOS to store all the configuration that your computer needs. But when that battery dies, when that battery is not operating, you lose your date and time as well as your BIOS settings. Given that the password is one of the BIOS settings, you also lose that too, guys. Does that make sense to you? All right. So given now that Mazule is back, if she has not understood something, you can chat with your mates and they're going to explain to you how you solve that particular scenario with your admin password. Okay. That being said, when you launch the Windows Startup Repair menu, you have a lot of options to you on your directly. One of the options is to exit, and maybe you actually went there by mistake. One of the options is to like exit directly and continue and boot directly into your operating system. That is Windows. In this case, it's Windows 11. But in case it was not intentional, in case it was intentional, you actually need to perform configuration. You can use the second option there to be without using of your Windows computer. I mean, you could simply go to this Windows and then use the second option there, which says use a device, use a USB drive, network connection, or Windows recovery, DVD. So, nevertheless, the highest option here that you are supposed to use is open the troubleshooting interface. You'll be faced with a couple of options. Now, let's explore these options. You see right here that within the startup interface, within the troubleshooting interface, we have advanced options. Sorry, guys. So I was let the screen finish loading, please. Okay, so once we log in into the troubleshooting interface, when we go into the troubleshooting interface, the first option is startup repair. Now, let's say for some reasons your PC is not. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, sir.
Right. Good. Thank you very much, Zidane. So let's assume that your PC is not turning on properly for some reason that you don't know. You did not do anything on that computer. It is just not turning on properly. If you go to this startup repair menu and go to troubleshoot, then you launch the first option, which says startup repair. It is going to propose which operating system that you want to repair. And then automatically, when you select that operating system, it is going to launch an interface where Windows itself will try to repair your operating system. And by the end of this process, the whole scenario, all the troubles that you were facing are going to be stories of the past. So that being said, within the same interface, you can also see system restore. I believe that during our last session, you guys were taught on how to create system restore points, right? Do you remember how to create restore points, guys? Do you remember how to create restore point and how do you go about it? I want one person to answer that. And what is a restore point? Sorry, what is a restore point? How do you create it? I'm listening. Okay. Nabila, don't. Nabila, you were in that class. I don't understand how you say that you don't remember how to create a restore point. Well, let's cut through the cheese and I'll just show you again how to do it. On your search bar, you're going to type create restore point. So let me just go back there. Sorry. Yes, on your search bar, you cannot, sorry, the screen I'm sharing, you cannot see my search bar. Or can you see my search bar?
No, sir.
On your search bar, you type restore points. Let me make sure that you can see it. Let me make sure you can see the search bar. Okay. So can you see the screen now? On the search, can you see my search bar?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what you do is you quickly type restore points. This is restore points. There is actually other options. There are other options right here. You can see like file history. This option is inside file history, like the previous restore points that I have created in time. So I generally have the habit of always creating my restore points. Why do I create these restore points? I create them because on my PC, something might happen sometime that you don't master. Something might happen at a point in time that you don't know how it did, but you just remember that, oh, there was this point in time where my PC was functioning smoothly. And then you could easily just restore your PC to that particular state. Now, this is the interface that we get when we type restore point on the search bar. This menu opens up. It is the menu. You can also access that menu by going to the settings, system properties. And if you open the system properties, you also access this menu. I'm just actually going out of this class because I really need you guys to understand. When you look at the restore point, it explains that you can undo system changes by reverting your computer to a previous restore point. What does this say to you? It says that your PC can be working today. Okay, let's take this scenario. Your PC is working today fine. Then let's say at 12 noon tomorrow, everything just stop working. Like maybe a virus infection, some of your files get corrupted and all the like. But remember, same time in the previous day, you created a restore point. How do you create a restore point? You come here, click on create, you select, you put in the name of the restore point. I just put in restore points. I just type in the restore points, win 11. Restore point win 11. It says that the current date and time will be added to it automatically. If I do create restore point, it is going to start creating that restore point. So it is just going to save the state of my PC at the moment. Every application, every file, every program that is within this computer at the moment is going to save this state. So much so that if I add something sometime in the future and it goes and things go bad, I could easily revert and come back to this previous state where my PC was functioning just fine. Do you guys understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand? All right.
So,
Who is not on PC? Let's start with who is not on PC. Okay, everyone is on PC. Who is on PC?
Hi,
No
sir.
one, no one is. Oh God, no one is on PC. Everyone.
I'm on PC,
Wait,
sir.
are you on PC?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me start with Mazule. Mazule, share your screen, please. Share your screen and then create a restore point. That's the first task. Just make sure you create a restore point and also make it a habit. Don't just create it today for the sake of creating. So I've authorized you to share your screen. Share the screen now. Sorry guys, something is happening. I'm experiencing a bug. I'm experiencing a bug. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Mazule, I think Mazule, you're good to go. You can share your screen now. Share your screen with us and create a restore point. Which version of Windows are you using, Mazule? Windows 10. Okay. When you are not, listen. When you are not working on the lab, go back to that lab. Go back to the lab. When you are not working on the lab, you can pause it, exit, and save the state, because the more you leave it open without working on it, your average time is just increasing without you actually doing stuff. I can see you're on number 9. You can click on the X, you pause it. It's been an hour. Click on the X and save the state. You can score or save the state. Save it so that you can come and continue from there next time. You will stop counting. From there, at that stage, it will stop counting. That being said, yes, you through your search bar, search for a restore point. You all should prepare to do the same. You're not going to do it in the class, but you will do it. Okay, so that's the option that says create a restore point. Okay, so just wait a little bit. Now your disk have loaded. Your disk have come on. Now you can see which disk do you want to choose. Not that one that is up there is if you want to like already roll back to a previous version of your system that was functioning. Let's say maybe now you have faced a problem. If you want to roll back, you just click there on restore, on system restore. System restore, go to system restore, click on it and see what happens. it is going to starting system restore. It's going to propose you to select the system restore image that you want. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good. So cancel that window. That's not what we want. What we want is for you to create a new restore point. First of all, first things first, you select the disk which you want to protect. Let's say it's your system drive. So you select the local disk C, click on it, it's selected. Now create a restore point. Create, you can see create right down there. If you click on create, it's just going to launch the interface, ask you to put a name, add a name to that restore point without including the date and the time because they'll be added automatically. So just give it a name. Okay, create them, click on create, and you see what happens is going to, now, I'm glad to announce to you that after this process, your PC is safe. If you ever happen to lose some of your information or like get some bugs or errors on your PC, you could just roll back using this method that we're explaining right here to a version of your PC that was working just fine. So who else is on PC? Let's take one person before we continue. Who else is on PC? After I create, it will tell you it has created a
I'm on
restore
PC,
point when
sir.
you be done. All right. Share your screen too. You're taking a lot of time. What's the matter? Share your screen.
Sir, talking to me.
Yes, we are waiting for you to share your screen.
Okay, sir.
You started your camera, you're not sharing your screen. It seems like you're facing technical difficulties. All right. Okay. So you already went there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Close your chat.
I've already created a restore point for this Dixie, sir.
Close your chat. We don't want to see your chats. System privacy. Who saw something? I've not seen anything.
It's closed, sir.
Yes. Restart the process, restart the whole process to make sure that everyone understands the flow. What was the first thing you did? What was the first thing you did?
Okay, sir.
Restart the whole
Okay,
process.
sir. I came to my search bar.
Okay.
I came right over here.
Can you guys hear him clearly, or I'm the only one getting the chubby noise?
Type
I cannot get me from too.
Zidane, we're just going to thank you for trying. Thank you for trying. We're just going.
restore point.
No, it's okay. Thank you very much. Your network is not good. His network is not good. We're just going. Your network is not good. You're transmitting video at the same time, audio. It seems like it's killing your whole bandwidth. So thank you very much. I believe we all have understood the process of creating a restore point. George, have you understood? Okay, good. So that being said, if you those restore points that you're creating inside your Windows interface when your PC is fine. If your PC no longer works, remember that you can always access the startup repair interface and you select that restore point here and you install it. What's the next thing you can do? A system image recovery. Let's assume that you just installed, Windows, what's happening?
Just take the application.
Okay. Let's assume that you just installed a Windows update. Let's say you updated the recent version of Windows 11. I'm using Windows 11, and I just accepted a recent update into Windows 11, but because it no longer functions well, what I can do is I can click on System Image Recovery within the setup repair interface. I click on System Image Recovery, and then I'll have the option here to choose whether I want to uninstall the latest quality update or uninstall the latest feature update. I choose what I just installed recently and I remove it, and that will be it. Now, assuming that maybe you forgot your password, you forgot your PC password, or or maybe your hard drive is not functioning properly, maybe your hard drive is not booting properly, what you can do is to also go into the startup repair, select the command prompt. When you open the command prompt, you type this command here, sfc space scan now. This command is going to scan your hard disk completely, and then if there's any problem with it, it's going to fix them, and you are good to go. Have you guys understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are
Yes, sir.
about to enter the next phase. All right, we are about to enter the next phase here, which is user profile management. So a user profile is just an interface that provides personal information for every user on a PC. How do you
So I have
even
a
manage
question.
users? How do you manage users? Yes, go ahead.
So I did not get the process which you used to enter the computer once you had a blowout.
When you,
When you
what's
have
the question again?
when you have the blowout. So I do not get
The
how
blue screen of death,
yes, so the blue
BSOD.
screen of the does not get how you get into the computer system.
Okay, basically it's going to present an error code. That error code will specifically target what went wrong in your system. And when from that error code, you could either use it and Google and search on the general internet library to figure out what that error code stands for, or the Microsoft support page. If you put that error code in Microsoft support page, they will tell you what that problem is if you don't want to troubleshoot it yourself. But if you're an expert or someone who likes to be, if you're curious and you need to learn new stuff, you can actually try troubleshooting it yourself. And we gave a couple of things. We said a couple of things that might have gone wrong. So we stated those couple of things, and we let me not just say them. Let me go back to the place where we talked about the things that could have gone wrong. Why? Yes, preventing your computer from turning on. So reset. Okay, so maybe you might experience the blue screen of death because you just installed new updates. And I believe that because for the update part of it, we just show you how you can remove the updates, right? Do you know how to remove the updates now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Improper shutdown, malware, partition resizing, peripheral devices. If for partition resizing errors, you can solve it using the command prompt, using that sfc scan now. If it's a case of malware, which means your computer is infected now and you can no longer use it properly, all you do is you go back to a restore point and go and restore your PC to a state that the malware was not yet present. Do you now see how everything comes together?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. So if it's that for the case where your PC do not shut down properly, what you can do is simply take a startup repair, and startup repair will attempt to shut down everything properly and then restart them all again. Does everything make sense to you now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. Do you have any other questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Who else has a question? Ask, be open, don't You must not restrain yourself to what we covered here. Ask me any question related to IT. If you have something that is bothering you that you feel like I could
I've
help,
got one, sir.
ask any. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead, please. This guy's network is like the worst of us all.
So to manually uh, do for this menu to pop up.
Please
You
type. Please
press
type
the
it.
power
Please.
button, and when your PC is about to come on, you shut it down again, and then you do it about.
All right, Zidane. Your network is like really terrible. So if you can put it in the chat box, what you want to say, put in the chat box. We're going to read it out loud. We will be waiting for it to get in. We'll explain it. We'll look at it, then continue with what we are doing. Okay. Are you doing it right now? You can just unmute to confirm. Are you doing it right now, or we should continue with the class first? Right. I believe that you're typing. So that being said, guys, we are moving to the second part of this interface. Though it's still within the first part, but it is how you manage user profiles. This is how you manage user profiles in Windows. Okay. A profile is a particular user in a computer with specific configurations and access keys. Now, how do you even create these profiles and how do you manage them? There are a lot of policies that apply to managing the whole stuff with user profiles inside Windows, inside the Windows operating system. So I'm going to show you real quick how you create a user profile and how you manage them and generate policies as an administrator. So let me just once again, I want to emphasize, those of you who are not going through the labs, it is terrible because everything that we're saying here are better explained in the labs that you can just go through and have a physical implementation, see or do a physical implementation of these labs. I believe though for they are good. Those who have been looking at it already, they're having like very good remarks or good point of views about the platform. So let me just open up real quick, computer management, and we are going to look at how to create a user profile or manage existing user profiles, password policies, and a lot more. Do you know that you can set up your computer so much so that your passwords that they can expire? What do I mean by expire? Expire in the sense that after a period of time, the user will be required to change that password. This is what we edit inside group local users and group policies. Okay, that's why we edit inside group policies. But you could also disable user accounts on your PC, add as many user accounts as you want, because let's say within the company infrastructure, when you're creating local groups and you want it possible for since all computers are connected to the company's network, we want it possible for every single computer, for every single user to be able to use any computer to access their account and the things that they have been working on, because we know that in company settings, data is not always stored on a single computer. Data is being stored on the server. And because data is stored on the server, you want it possible for every user to access this data from every computer or any workstation within the office space. So in order to create a user, there's a better implementation of this whole thing within the labs, where you have to manage users and groups. So for example, let's look at groups. Let's start with groups, guys. I don't know how I can zoom this interface, but it's not really zooming. Large icons. Okay. Icons. Okay. I think it's big enough. I think it's big enough. List but large icons. Okay. Everything is displayed here about it. Good. Can you guys see this screen properly? Like, can you, I don't know, which,
Yes, sir.
okay, good to know. I want to zoom in so that you can see properly. But unfortunately, it's not possible to zoom. I was trying to zoom in, but I hope that you guys, it's the characters are readable, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the groups that are within the company. Within the group, we have the most basic people who are just normal users. Who are normal users? There are people that just perform basic tasks within the system. And what are these basic tasks? Things like their users are prevented from making accidental or intentional system-wide changes, but they can run most applications. That's just the basic user on the computer. We also have another category of users that we call remote desktop users, people that can connect remotely. There are also guest accounts. We have device owners, backup operators, people that are in charge of performing backup on system files every day and restoring them in case the damage occurs. And then we also have administrators. These administrators are people that control the whole domain and have access to and can manage everything on the whole network. So if you implement like what we're going to see in chapter 8, what we're going to see in chapter 8 is domains, work groups and domains. If you create a work group and then we create an organizational unit where, in work group, you cannot have organizational unit. So inside work group, we can just have like people with different administrative level. You can say maybe that all these people here, the administrator, the backup operators, and device owners, they can access the printer. You grant these these policies this is a menu that you use to configure some of the policies that will apply to the users of a particular system. Windows work groups, I'll make sure I share those slides with you before we have the session so that you guys can have a better understanding of what we are talking about. So right now, this is just like how you manage groups. If you right click on a group here and then you say add maybe this user to a group, who do you want to add? Who do you want to add to this group? Maybe like people that are on this computer. I am having the administrator. If I search for the admin account, if I do check name, okay, the admin of this computer, this is the name. If I add this name to the computer, if I add this name, that user, which is the admin of this PC, is going to be added to the users group. Also, you can see that the current user of this PC this is the user of this PC. This is my name here. Yes, this is the name, this is the user of this PC. If I want to add myself as an administrator on this computer, all I have to do is right click there and then take properties. You can see that this is properties. This is the user of this PC. This is me. This account that I am in right now. This is me. And as you can see, I am part of the administrators group. Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? So I can perform administrative functions like activate Windows, install antivirus, or uninstall applications, install applications. But the normal user, if I belong only to the user category, see properties. If I belong only to this category and not the administrative category, I will not be able to install applications, uninstall them, do some particular configurations within the settings app. I will not be able to do that on other than maybe using Microsoft Word and run applications in general. That's the only thing I'll be able to do. And browse so generally that's what I'll be able to do as a normal user, but I'm part of this group. I can also add myself to the backup group. That's if I was working in a network I could add myself to the backup group. Let's say I just search my name real quick. I search it, and this is me here. I just add it to the group, and now I am also part of the backup groups. If this was a company setting, like we have several computers, I'll be able to perform system setups. System backups. So do you guys understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to put all of this in practice. I hope that you put all of this in practice. That being said, okay, I didn't want to add myself. I didn't want to add myself, so I'll just remove. Okay, I want to be a backup. I don't have a network, so I don't want to be a backup operator. Now, the other thing that you can do now is let's go now to users. These are the various users that are on this computer. We have the default user account. This is a user account that is managed by the system for Windows Defender applications and scenarios. This I don't know if you guys have, if you realize on your PC, everybody has this account. And then there's a default account that is provided by the system. Then there is also a guest account. But as a matter of fact, the most important here is the administrator account, the account that has the highest privileges. And last but not the least, we now have the user account. This is an account that I have created. You can see all the features, you can see all the options, all the actions that you can perform. If you want, let's say I click on the administrator account, you can see the action that I can perform here. I could add a new user to the administrator account, or I could look at all other actions like set the password for the administrator account, look at the tasks that they can perform, delete the administrator account, rename, and all the other things that one can do. So let's look at, let's say, properties of the administrator account. I can change the password of the administrator account right from here. And when you look at every user, you will be able to see which groups that member belongs to. Say, for example, let me take me. Let me take my the user account of this PC. The reason why I've separated my user account from my administrator account is because I don't want anybody to accidentally go into my system and perform system changes that I won't be able to recover. So that's why I've made sure that the account that I use on a daily basis is this user account, which has some administrator privileges, while my administrator account is always there and can do everything on its own. So let's say I right click on and get the properties of my user account. If you see member of, you're going to see that I am member of users and administrators groups. Now, I actually removed myself from the backup operators group, but let me just add myself back there real quick. Let me add myself to this. And okay, if I apply this, I am now part of the backup. I'm now part of the backup operators group. If I go back to users and I click on me, on myself, and I open more properties and look at which member of I am, you can now see that which member of which group I am in. You can now see that I am also part of the backup operators group, and I can perform backup operations in general. So guys, that is basically it. For this user account, I could also make sure I could disable this account. I could disable it. I could lock, if I was not directly inside this account, I could have locked it. I could have locked out, like this account can no longer connect on this PC. I can force myself, this option is disabled because it's the account that I'm using currently. I could force this account to change the password or next logon. So whenever you're trying to log in the next time, you must get a new password. That is due to password policies. Password policies, we are going to look at them also in later times. Or I could just put in here that the password never expires. I've put that my password never expires because this is just a user account. But for the administrator account, I think that password, good. The password, I'm always changing it all the time. I'm always changing it. If I click here right now, next time I'll be trying to log in into this computer, I'll have to change the password before I log in. So that being said, that's what this interface, user profiles and management looks like. So I hope I did not confuse you guys too much. I hope I did not give you too much information, but you can go onto the platform and you will see a lot of things. I think there is the event viewer that we saw the other time. Event viewer is also here. The performance monitoring, the monitoring tools that we looked at during the last session, they are also here. Some of you, for some reasons, were not available, but that's all right. that's all right. Let's look at Windows logs and then take system logs. If you look at system logs, it's loading. You remember, right? We remember when we looked at system logs. Let's load properly. We are done with the user profile section, so I'm just going to close. For some reasons, I'm still experiencing a bug. That's fine. That's fine. We're just going to continue with our class. So yeah, that interface, that's how you build a user profile. Now, what if your applications are conflicting with each other? How do you troubleshoot a situation where your applications are conflicting with each other? But before we actually look at that, I would like to take questions. Do you guys have any worries, something you've not understood?
No, sir.
Anything you've not understood, guys?
No, sir.
Okay. What about the other people? Why are they not talking? George, Zidane, is there anything you have not understood? Is there anything you have not understood? Right. I'm just going to continue from there. So, when your applications conflict in your PC, which means one application interferes with the smooth functioning or the smooth operation of another, it might be that you should check, okay, you should maybe check your system requirements. Maybe like your PC has a particular standard for multiple applications to operate, but the operating system that you're using have some standards which your PC is supposed to meet before being able to run certain applications together. But your PC does not meet them, so your PCs those applications will like clash and it's not going to function properly. You should also check for updates and make sure that your PC has the latest drivers and applications. Uninstall those applications and reinstall them if they are conflicting, and you should add additional resources such as plugins, add-ons, or other things that these applications need to work properly. So summarily within this module, in the first part, we have talked about how you reboot your PC, the thing that it will cause when you reboot your PC, the restart services, how you manage the services that are operating in the background of your computer, the startup repair, how you manage to repair improper shutdowns and other operations that have tampered with your operating system's integrity, how you perform a system restore to back up your PC or roll back to a state of your PC that was functioning properly, how you perform a system image recovery by rolling back or uninstalling the updates that you put on your PC recently, which has caused maybe something to not work properly. How you uninstall the updates is what we're talking about. System file checkers, like the operation you carry the operation that you carry inside the command prompt, the SFC scan, system file checker /scan now, to make sure that you correct all errors that occur on files that are not working properly, as well as how you rebuild user profiles and add resources to a PC. So that's a summary of the first part. Do you guys have any questions? No, we don't have. Now, let's continue to part 2. Mazule, this is for you. This is for you and for Zidane. Oh, Mazule is not even in class. So this right here is what the blue screen of death looks like. This is the blue or black screen of death. Sometimes it is blue, other times it is black. It is just the color that changes. Sometimes it is blue, other times it is black, but it is generally just the color that changes. Okay, but generally it is just the same error. You can see there it says your computer ran into a problem and needs to restart by just collecting some error info, and then you can restart the PC. So basically, it's when an interrupt is too high or too strong for your PC to manage that, you're faced with the blue screen or black screen of death. Now, what are some of the causes of a blue or a black screen of death? What are some of the causes of this error? First is we're going to categorize these errors on two fields. The first is software-based courses, and the other will be hardware-based courses. First of all, we're going to look at malwares. A malware would have tried to interfere with your system's operation, and then it might have caused now the computer to shut down unexpectedly, thus leading to the blue screen of death. You have installed a new update which is too performant, or which your current hardware cannot host, which your current hardware cannot operate, then it is causing the blue screen of death to appear. It might be because your computer drivers are outdated. Let's say your CPU is not communicating well with other components. You also face the blue screen of death. Some applications might be causing this, outdated Windows operating system, as well as update bugs that you get from updating your system. Mazule, if you're back, I'm just going to, for your sake, I'm just going to go back and show the blue screen or black screen of death. This is what it looks like. Can you see? Mazule, I returned this screen for your sake. This is what the blue or black screen of death looks like. Have you ever seen this now? So from this, have you ever seen something like this?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
No, I've not seen it.
Okay. Perhaps you have not seen this one. What about one with the blue color, where the whole black background is blue? Have you seen something like that?
No, I've not seen that one either.
All right. Trust me, you're into the IT field. You will end up seeing it one day, whether you like it or not.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so we're just looking here at some of the reasons why you encounter the black or blue screen of death. So we talked about malwares, new updates, outdated drivers, applications, outdated Windows operating system, updates, and bugs. So on the hardware-based courses, your PC can overheat and cause you to get the blue screen of death. You might connect an external device, and because it might be too complex, or for some reasons it doesn't communicate well or connect well with your PC, you experience the blue screen of death due to a hardware failure. Let's say you're working and out of a sudden, bam, your RAM dies. Not your RAM. No, let's not take RAM. Your GPU. If your GPU dies, you're done. You're not going to see anything on the screen. But at least you're going to receive some of these errors. Other hardware failures and loose RAM chips or cables will also be prompted to you as blue screen of death error messages. You just have to understand that at the end of the day, the blue screen of death is not actually the blue screen of death. It is just a screen that appears as a result of the operating system shutting down to prevent further damages. When the errors that occur in your systems occur, your PC tries to resolve these errors by itself. But when it is above its capacity, it then now experiences an abrupt shutdown in an attempt to stop that process and inform you of what is happening, because most of these things happen, you're not aware. When you're working on your PC and your RAM chips get loose or your cables get loose, you can never know. It is only when you face such an error that you'll be able to get an insight of what is happening within your PC. So due to this error, you get slow profile loading or frequent shutdowns. Some of the reasons when you start experiencing the blue screen of death. Now, what if now that you're trying to turn on your PC, you only see operating system not found? That is mostly because your OS does not connect with the hard drive or the operating system that is found inside it. Now, what you can do is, some of the causes of your PC not finding the operating system is that, one, the most common reason is always that your hard drive has been disconnected. Let me tell you something, guys. One day my PC was in my laptop was in my back. I think I was in a car or something, and we entered into one pothole, and the shock was too huge that it actually shook my hard drive within the laptop, and the hard drive disconnected from the SATA connector. How crazy is that? I got home, tried to turn on the PC, I was so frustrated. I could not imagine that when I actually opened the PC, troubleshooting, after doing all the troubleshooting that I needed to do, I just realized that it was my hard drive that was disconnected. I plugged it in and it always came back on. So whenever you see operating system not found, always try to first of all turn the back of the PC, open it up, and make sure that the hard drive is plugged in properly. If you're using a desktop, make sure that the SATA cable is working or it is connected properly. Now, some other causes is if the boot files are corrupted. When your boot files are corrupted, that's where you need to do how did I call it again? A repair install. Now everything comes together. When we're talking about the various type of Windows installation, we talked about in-place upgrade, we talked about upgrade installation, clean installation, and repair installation. So if your PC is corrupted and is missing some boot files, if you perform a repair installation, it's going to replace those missing boot files and your operating system is going to load normally. Secondly, you might have set up the boot order improperly. As of the case of Mazule, who says that she does not have access to her BIOS, to her system BIOS, that means she cannot configure your boot order at all. When you step out of the meeting for some time, we explain the various steps that you can follow to reset the BIOS password. But then that's okay. Some of your classmates, they did understand. Your friends here did understand how the whole thing works. So that being said, you can get back to them and they'll help you explain how you reset the BIOS password without actually knowing the password. So, but when your PC has the bad boot order, like it does not boot in the specific order that you want it to, the first boot device should always be the one that has your operating system. Unless you need to install an operating system, that you go and configure the boot order to make sure that it is the drive or the flash drive or the CD that has the operating system, which is the first in order. The next thing could be that a bad hard disk. Your hard disk just, for some reason, just got bad. Next is bad or loose cables. If the cables that are connecting your hard drive to your PC are faulty, definitely you're going to experience this particular error here that says your operating system was not found. Nonetheless, some of the things that you can do to check to solve this issue is like run a BIOS hard drive self-test. I cannot show you that right now. I cannot show you that because if I have to go to my BIOS, you guys will not more see me. I'll be out of this meeting. I'll go out of the meeting if I have to go to the BIOS and show you what I am doing. So you should also check the BIOS files, make sure that they are set up properly. Check the boot sequence. Those are the things that we said. Replace damaged drives or cable and secure loose cables. If the cable is damaged, you replace it. If the drive is damaged, you replace it. And also make sure that you secure the cables that are loose. Prevent them from being shaky. So another thing that you will get here is you will get like USB hubs that you connect to your PC to extend the number of ports that you have on your PC for USB. And some of these devices can also cause your PC to experience some issues. All of these are concepts that you can get within the platform. So summarily, we have looked at the blue or black screen of death, missing operating system files, the BIOS and UEFI, how they operate, as well as the orders. So now we are moving to scripting basics. What is scripting in general? Scripting, I'm just going to summarize this whole module to the shortest way I can, because there's not much that we are going to look at right now because we don't have a physical way of implementing it. This is simply a way of performing operations on your PC by either using high-level or low-level programming languages to perform tasks. Let's say, for instance, I want to open. No, that's the. I want to run a command. Let me see. Scripting. You could execute scripting. Let's just talk about it. A script is a text file that contains commands and structures, and structures specific to a scripting language. Let me show you guys something. No, actually, let me not show it right now. You can get to me properly if you need to know more about this. You can get to me personally. We communicate on a one-on-one basis so that I can take my time and explain to every single person. Now, a scripting language is an interpreted programming language used in a text file that is human readable. So a normal programming language like Python, Java, or Shell. So the use case for this programming language is an example of how a technology can be used in a real life example. How do you use Python to perform operations within your computer? Let's look at some scripting languages. The scripting language is interpreted, it is read and executed line by line, and it is human readable. Which type of programming language do we say when one question? When we say a programming language is read and executed line by line, is it a low-level language? Sorry. What module reads that language? Is it like a translator or an interpreter? Is it an interpreter that converts a language line by line, or a translator that converts it line by line and is read and executed line by line? I'm asking that question because all of you who are in this meeting right now, you're doing IT. You're into the IT field and the technical part of it. An interpreter. Good. So an interpreter is that software that converts a line of in a whole bunch of code by executing it line by line after line. All right. So some scripting languages are we understood what a script is. I believe so. So some scripting languages are Python. Python is a high-level language that has general purpose, which has human readable code. It is frequently used with large data sets and it is extensible. This is an example of the Python code. The next scripting language is shells. It includes SH, Bash, KSH, and ZSH. And it's this is just an example again of the shells programming, the shells scripting language. Another one is batch files. Batch files are like just a series of Windows commands that you write inside a text file, and then you save it with the extension .bht, .bat to execute some particular task. I have a couple of batch files in my PC. We're going to look at it subsequently. So another scripting language is the PowerShell language. In the PowerShell is where you include administrative and data-driven functions within your commands, like change system log passwords, like just do a whole lot of administrative stuff within the PowerShell interface by scripting. So one of the reasons why you use scripting is because you want to automate processes. You need to restart machines. You want to map network drives, install applications, or perform backups without using the user interface or performing it on a large scale. When you're automating a process, say like adding users let's say you want to add users to a computer system, there are 1,000 users. You don't go and create all these users one by one. You guys remember the interface where we used to create users on our PC? Let me make sure you see the screen. So you remember this interface where we create users on our PC? Like we come here to users. We want to create a new user. You have to put the user's name, blah, blah, blah. Well, let me just add somebody actually. Let's say I'm adding Zidane. Zidane, the full name is Gino. Sorry, pardon me if I spell your name wrongly. Gino Zidane. Gino Zidane, description, mail, blah. All right. So there are more. You now put if I create you a password, I'm just typing jargon, but this is how you Ginger. Oh, Ginger. Thank you for the correction. Okay. I'm not actually going to create you, so don't mind. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to create you in my machine. You can go and implement it in your own PC, all right? So yeah, you just put the password, but this is how you do to create one user. From all you can see here, this is just for one user. What if you want to create 1,000 employees? Do you actually create 1,000 employees one at a time? No, you don't. You simply create a spreadsheet with all that information. bring that spreadsheet into a command, into a scripting tool or like a shell, Windows PowerShell. Use like Python, Shell, Batch, whatever it is to automate the whole process and add those users to the servers. You create tables that already have like the pass. You create a table that has the password. You create a table that has the username. Create a table that has the full name and everything. Just add it to the system, and the scripting language to automate the whole process of adding these users to the system. So that being said, guys, you also use this whole thing to like map drives to servers and all the stuff, or install and deploy applications within a large scale. When you're scripting, you should consider that you can have unintended malwares. Like by scripting, you can write some code that is going to download some malwares in your PC without doing it intentionally. You can change system settings without actually figuring out that this is actually what I was doing. Say like, for example, say for example, if I click here, I click right and I add new group, I know which action I am performing because I am adding. But when you're working on a black interface, like the Windows, like the command prompt, if you're working on a whole dark interface that you cannot see anything, by implementing scripting, you are not going to be seeing what you're actually doing implemented. So that kind of creates a scenario where you don't understand the whole impact of your actions. So as a result of those changes that were inadvertent, some of your system applications can crash. Your systems or your system can, or your applications can crash. So right now we're just going to look at the summary of the programming languages that we talked about. We talked about within this module, I've talked about scripting languages such as Python, Shell, Bash files, and PowerShell, and the various scenarios where you need to use scripting as scripting in home. So people, we have come to the end of this presentation. We just finished with chapter 7. So I'm quickly going to introduce chapter 8, then we are going to stop there. I'll just introduce chapter 8, then we stop at the introduction stage. While I'm switching to that new screen, do you guys have any question? Do you have any question? I'm waiting for questions. I'm waiting for questions. Okay, we are opening chapter 8. Yes, what are you saying? I want to believe that you people have understood everything we're talking about. Oh, have you understood, people? Nobody's answering. I'm going to take that for a yes. Chapter 8 is simply the last module where we talk about system management. In the 2 previous chapters, we have been looking at. All right, Zidane, no problem. Actually, if you have a question that is concerning this class, ask it here, because the recording is going to serve other students who were unable to attend the session. So if it's a question that is related to this class, ask it here. Or if it's something that you think is going to be better to ask privately, which does not concern the class, then that's fine. You can always get back to me or the other administrators if you have issues that are related to the whole training program. So the last 2 chapters, as I was saying, were all related to system management. Chapter 8 happens to be the last and one of the most important aspects of system management. This is where you're going to learn enterprise skills that are applicable within the field. But we're not just going to be talking about them. We want to make sure that you guys are following up with the labs. Zidane, see me after the class for the lab information. Josh, you too. Make sure you see me after the class with respect to the labs. Okay. That being said, let me just introduce you real quick to chapter 8. So chapter 8, the first module here is we're going to talk about is basically Active Directory. Okay. Active Directory, within here, the skills that you're going to learn is how to join a domain, join a workstation to a domain, manage Active Directory objects, create user accounts, create organizational units, delete the organizational units, and use group policies. We actually just use group policies. We just use group policies in the other interface. So we're just going to define, we are going to end at the definition phase. So the key policy, we're going to look at what a policy is, what a work group is, and what the domain is. All of these fall under Active Directory. First of all, a policy is a set of rules and guidelines that establish the way that business is conducted within an organization. The enterprise versions of Windows permit you to set up policies. Work groups are Microsoft's implementation of a peer-to-peer networking interface. So if you want to set up an interface where there's like no server, all computers are interconnected to each other, but there's a set of rules that govern exchange of data within that interface. You implement that using a work group. And a domain, on the other hand, is an administratively defined collection of network resources that share a common directory, database, and security policies. If you want to look at the implementation of this in client-server architecture, within the domain, we have the client-server architecture, and in the work group, we have peer-to-peer architecture. So for the domain, we have the star topology, and for the work group, what do we have? The mesh topology or tree topology, okay? Mesh or tree topology, not tree topology. Mesh or bus topology, sorry guys. So when we look at network topologies, the one that applies to work groups and domains are tree topology and star topology, respectively. I'll just show you guys a quick image. This is how a work group looks like. These are workstations connected all together to form a work group, and then they can now all together use one printer. This printer is connected to one machine, and then the printer is now available on the network for all the other computers that are found within that work group. In this case, they are forming a local network with implementation of a shared printer. I think around chapter 11 or chapter 12, we're going to learn about printing, which is a very important module that's going to give you a lot of practical skills. Now, we just go real quick to the next phase. Here is what a domain looks like. This is what a domain looks like. So the star topology versus the bus topology. Guys, that will be all for today. That's all I wanted to show you. So we're just going to call this a day. And if you have any questions, we can listen to your questions and interact before we separate we separate here today. So do you guys have anything that you want to ask, anything you worry about before we end? Guys, do you have any questions? Or I guess that's it. We call it a day, right? Okay. So I wish you guys a nice weekend. Prepare for Sunday. Sunday, especially, we might start the class a little bit late.
Same to you, sir.
So please, you guys should look forward to. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think a bit late. A trip short of how I'll manage. I will try time for this code, but actually I'll be coming to Bamenda. So the Bamenda would like us to meet. I think we can make that happen. That being said, let's look forward to Sunday. Prepare for it. I will make sure I share all the slides to you guys in the group. And welcome to the weekend. And make sure to always revise and solve your lab and go to labs. Go to your labs, do everything. Get to us if you have any. Yeah, that'll